a path to Ronda, given how well she jumped last time.
That was her asset. Jumping was her asset. And
Supreme Malanas has just gone favourite. 6-5 on, plays tips on, 11-10 on.
Wow, they're really chopping and changing here. They don't really know which one they want. But like I say, a path to Ronda, her jumping was her asset the last day around Stratford. It's going to be difficult for her to try and give a penalty away to Supreme Malanas. But Gavin Sheehan, I would imagine he'll be on the front end again, and he's a dangerous jockey from the front, and his filly has got a bit of toe as well. So if he can get his fractions right from the front and maybe steal a length here and a steal a length there, he could be very difficult to peg back.
And trainer Toby Bolgan has shown more than once that he's not to be underestimated the last couple of seasons. Merely a Detail is more than merely a bit player here.
She's rated 107. I would have thought she would have to step up her game a little bit from that. She's got a tongue tie for the first time, so that will obviously help her out. She's around the starter. She's fit. She's had a couple of place settles already, and yeah, like you say, she's ready. She's fit. She's ready to go. She does banks around and throw her weight around. She's probably the biggest mare down at the start.
And Freddie's Miss Molly didn't run very well last time, but in a bumper at Cheltenham back in April, she was only beaten 8 lengths. So she's got a little bit of ability.
That's exactly what she has, Nick. She's got plenty of ability, but I'm worried about her
I was
form
going with a little bit, but you're a generous man. But she's
nice to give her a plug.
She'll win a race for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely races in her to win. But like I say, she needs to go back to and sort of relax and settle like what she did on her first ever run.
Dawn's Desire hasn't shown anything much yet.
No, she hasn't. She fell on her debut around Taunton. No show the last time at Chepstow. She will need to... Yeah, I think, look, realistically, we're talking about handicap hurdles further down the line for her.
So we've not got all that many hurdles to jump. We've not got all that many runners. And the market is indecisive. Supreme Malanas out to 11-10 on, path to Ronda evens, and Merely a Detail just clipped in a shade. There we are then. Won't be too much longer. They're just putting the doles in the hurdles ahead of this 2.25 mile mare's only novice. A path to Ronda with a nice pedigree and a nice jumping technique judged on her hurdling debut, bidding to follow up today. But she's now odds against for the first time. 11-10. A path to Ronda as Supreme Malanas now wins the battle for favouritism, I think, as we're ticking round to, well, we're past the off time, but ticking round to the start of this race. All right. What are your thoughts on Lulamba?
I'm very, very excited. Like to say, I've seen him jumping at home last year, and I was really excited to see him there today. And just the way he went out there, just his demeanour, everything about him, to me, a real professional. It was great to see him. I think personally, I'd be in the Nichols camp. I think he'll want to step up and trip. I think that's where you're going to see him at his very, very best. But it's just like you say, these novice chasers, we haven't had the strength and depth in them because obviously a few of them have been non-participants, but it was great to see him back.
Yeah, the point is when you're that good, there are very few horses over any trip that are going to pose a real threat to you, so you've got to take the top level elite grade 1 opportunities where they present themselves, and that opportunity will present itself at Sandown in 3 weeks' time. Looks as though Supreme Malanas is going to try and make the running here as well to give the Skeltons a quick double. Here's Richard.
Thanks, Nick. Yep, a massive run between flights 3 and 4. I mean, you can see there are 3 flights we're jumping, and you can see the distance between the first in the home straight and the last in the home straight, and we're best part of, what are we? Best part of 2 miles round here anyway, so it's going to have a massively long run between flights 3 and 4. If that counts in favour of those horses that haven't seen hurdles before, and to the detriment of a path to Ronda, I don't know. They do tend to go a little bit quicker, strangely enough, when they're not leaving the ground. And the 5 runners about to move back towards the starter. So 5 runners, no one appears in that much of a hurry to return to the starter. Everyone playing devil take the hindmost and dropping back in behind the group. But this time we are on an approach. The Globin Chudley Mares Novices Hurdle will be run over 2.25 miles and over 6 flights of hurdles. The 3 up the home straight taken twice. And gradually approaching Sophie Upton, and away we head. It's a path to Ronda, who leads them towards the first. Supreme Malanas in the orange colours. Dawn's Desire towards the inside. And Merely a Detail in the black colours as they take the first of the 6 flights with Freddie Miss Molly held up, and the pace is not strong. It's being set by a path to Ronda, the grey, for Jamie Snowden and Gavin Sheehan. Supreme Malinas in second place as we arrive at the second, and Path to Ronda was a little bit awkward there. That's the one with hurdling experience, but got into the bottom of that flight and now has one more to take up the home straight before this very, very long run indeed, as they pop over the third to flight number 4. So out in the lead, Path to Ronda just having a little bit of a look around there at the assembled group on the running rail. And it's just been a bit gawky over the first few. Path to Ronda, Gavin Sheehan in the lead. Supreme Malinas is in second place. In third now is Melia Detail, just ahead of, in fourth place, Dawn's Desire. And last of the 5 is Freddie Miss Molly. Now, usually it would be a long run anyway between the next flight of hurdles, but with the omission of those in the back straight due to the sun, it is a long run, and it's going to take them a while at this speed, because it's only an even gallop, maybe slightly less than that, being set by a Path to Ronda, who's out in front. Gavin Sheehan looking for his 900th UK winner, poised on 899, ahead of Supreme Malinas for Dan Skelton, winner of a listed bumper. Hurdling debut, Harry Skelton aboard. Third place for Melia Detail, who's got a couple of placings over hurdles, ahead of Dawn's Desire and Freddie Miss Molly bringing up the rear. So they reach the top of the hill. A little bit of a look over the shoulder there from Gavin Sheehan. Won't have to look very far to find Supreme Malinas in second place, with 3 lengths back to Melia Detail. That trio just potentially beginning to get away a little bit from Dawn's Desire and Freddie Miss Molly, the 2 big priced horses. And currently the runners may make the journey downhill. So as they run down into the dip, it's a Path to Ronda leading them into the valley by about a length or so from Supreme Malinas in second. Melia Detail in third place is about 4 lengths away. Dawn's Desire and Freddie Miss Molly. So they will now begin the climb uphill, and once again they'll begin to move on this side, the left-hand side of the hurdles. The Path to Ronda's certainly taking it all in. Ears are pricked, she's having a good look around, and Gavin Sheehan's just having to keep her mind on going the straight and narrow. Supreme Malinas, by contrast, is able just to drop in on the heels of the leader. Melia Detail's closed up slightly in third as they continue their progress up the back straight. Pushed along Dawn's Desire by Harry Kimber in fourth. Not travelling quite as well as Freddie Miss Molly, who is last of the 5. So a Path to Ronda, not doing a great deal in front, continues just to move past the hurdle. Supreme Malinas a length away. They're just beginning to break away from Melia Detail. It's about 3 to 4 lengths further back. Freddie Miss Molly, moving up on the outside of Dawn's Desire, is about to take 4th place. So climbing up out of the back straight, and out in the lead, a Path to Ronda will lead the turn. And now we've got round about 3 furlongs or so before the final 3 flights of hurdles. Supreme Malinas travelling strongly, but a Path to Ronda, as I say, has been rather dossing in front, so may well pick up when pressed. And the 2 of them are 3 to 4 lengths clear from Melia Detail. Freddie Miss Molly in 4th, still travels okay. And last of the 5 is Dawn's Desire. So now Gavin Sheehan sets about motivating a Path to Ronda. A length or so clear from Supreme Malinas. Melia Detail hasn't lost any further ground, and then Freddie Miss Molly, and now we're approaching the 3rd last. So out in the lead, a Path to Ronda. Supreme Malinas moves towards the outside, but hasn't got to the leader just yet. And this is 3 from the finish. A Path to Ronda over. Supreme Malinas has just about jumped alongside, however, at the 2nd last. And now battle is joined between the front 2. So heading towards 2 out, a Path to Ronda on the left-hand side. Supreme Malinas in the orange colours. 2 from the finish. Supreme Malinas picked up just in front. A Path to Ronda in 2nd place. There's a length and a half now between the 2. Moving to the rail. Supreme Malinas and Path to Ronda pull towards the outside. The gap between them at the last will be a couple of lengths. And Supreme Malinas is over that last flight from a Path to Ronda in 2nd. Melia Detail in 3rd place, and driven out towards the line will be a successful hurdling debut and doubles on the day for Dan and Harry Skelton. Supreme Malinas beat a somewhat lethargic Path to Ronda in 2nd place, but is comfortably in 2nd, past Melia Detail in 3rd. We're going to have a battle for 4th place here. Freddie Miss Molly may get nailed close home by Dawn's Desire, who indeed is up for 4th.
Supreme Malinas has won. That's a double for the Skeltons. It was quite comfortable in the end. I don't think the absence of the hurdles really helped a Path to Ronda. It merely served to make her more starry and green in the early part of the race, and she just gave a nice lead to her old rival, Supreme Malinas. So he's a nice mare.
She is, yeah. The winner's luck is Supreme Malinas is a real nice mare. Harry had the luxury. He got a nice lead into the race from Gavin. But a Path to Ronda, which I was surprised, her jumping was her asset the last time. She obviously dropped in, but she was out in front and she was very stary at all her hurdles there. She was losing an awful lot of ground. And to be honest with you, that's not a true reflection on her. She's an awful lot better than there. But Harry had the luxury of just sitting in behind. You see, even there, just going into third last, kind of left her backhind in really just never really helping Gavin Sheehan out the whole way along. And this is where Harry there, he obviously had the receipt of the weight allowance there, just comes up. Previous point-to-point winner and quickened up nicely. It turned into a little bit of a sprint coming up the home straight, and Harry had to be aware of that because his horse, obviously, she won a point-to-point, stays a bit further, but he had to be aware of that. But she was, her jumping was quicker than a Path to Ronda the whole way around. And that was the difference, I think.
And she's ended up winning very tidily indeed. They will be in the search for a little bit of black type, I'm sure, and I don't doubt she'll get it.
Yeah, she's dead tidy. Look at it, you can see him there. They've pulled a long way clear of Merely a Detail, who's rated 107. You'd like to think, I thought they would do that beforehand. They're a better quality of mares compared to her. And look, I thought she still ran well, Merely a Detail, but it's all about the first two here. And I think especially Supreme Malinas, she just looks tidy in red-hot skeleton form again.
Yeah, and in the end, the market was decisive and they got it right. 5-4 on favourite, wins for the Skeletons.
Welcome back to the winner of race 3. Loaded from the mares, Nox's Hurdle. Goes to